A very warm afternoon to one and all present here. My name is Manisha Savlani. I am an assistant professor of Department of Applied Physics, Priyadarshini College of Engineering. It gives me an immense pleasure to extend you a warm welcome on behalf of Department of Applied Physics, who has clubbed all of us together for this online multidisciplinary short-term training program on updates in teaching, learning techniques and research. For today's session, I welcome Mr. Sunil Mahabal. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Let me introduce you, sir. Mr. Sunil Mahabal has an experience of over 42 years in machine maintenance area in compressor, gear, and tractor manufacturing. Currently, Mr. Mahabal is associated with DISHA Engineering Hingna since 2019. Sir has been a winner of MEBA Energy Efficient Plant Competition in the year 2012. He also got an award in 2014 for Frost and Civilian Green Manufacturing. He is a certified energy auditor, and the list goes on. For today's topic, Sir will be sharing his knowledge on different certificates that industry applies for. I welcome you, sir, and I hand over you the session. Please, sir.
Thank you. Okay, good afternoon. So this is
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
So it is a real pleasure to be on this platform of multidisciplinary training, third time in a row. So today's topic is different certificates that industries apply for. Now, before we go into the subject, let me tell you why the industries apply for so many certificates. One reason, basic reason, is that if they want to export their product, then it becomes very easy if the ISO certification is there. So they need not convince the customer about the quality. And secondly, even if they do not want to export, then they have to have a cutting edge over the rivalry. Therefore, to have that cutting edge, they go for different certificates. So we will see one by one. So first of all, what is ISO? What ISO stands for? It is International Standard Development Organization. It was founded on 23rd February 1947. Till date, they have published 24,261 international standards, covering almost all aspects of technologies and manufacturing, other than electrical and electronics. Because for that, there is a different standard, which is known as International Electrotechnical Commission, which is IEC. And IEC works in collaboration with ISO. So 167 countries have membership, and India's BIS, Bureau of Indian Standards, is also a member of ISO. So this is their headquarters at Switzerland, Geneva, Switzerland. And their main products are standards, but they also publish technical reports, technical specifications, and technical guides. So I was asked that what is there for the teaching staff, because I am basically addressing the teaching staff. So what I will say that when you are teaching to your students, if you have this background that what for the ISO certificates are there and which different industries are following it, then while teaching students, a bright student may come up and become, because it is possible to become a authorized auditor, certified auditor for any of the certificates. So those courses are also available. Secondly, if one of your student is likely to become an entrepreneur, then you can guide him through this certificate. And then he can further study deeply through Google, and all the standards are also available in print. So he can further follow it. That is why this knowledge of certificates is necessary. So these are the different ISO certificates that are available worldwide. And that is a equalizer, a sort of equalizer, that the person who is operating in India and the person who is operating in some other country, if both of them have ISO 9001, then there is 99% commonality between them, because the standard is set like that the values will differ but the approach is same. So ISO 9001, here you will say how populated the certificates are. The total valid certificates till 2019 are 8,83,521. 65.1% of the certificates are ISO 9001 across the world. That is how the population is given with all the certificates. So one by one we will see which certificate is for what. So first, if we see ISO 9001, then this certificate is applied for those industries who want to improve their product quality to international level, and also if they want to export. What it concentrates on? It concentrates on engagement of people. What it says that if only few handful of people are involved in this activity, certification activity, then the desired quality of the product will not be achieved unless engagement is right up to the grassroots level. So engagement of people, that is first focus they have. Then customer focus. What your customer wants is more important than what you can give to him. Because whatever he wants, wherever he gets, he will go there and have his need fulfilled. So you have to give what your customer wants. Leadership. So you have to lead your community. Process approach. Every operation has to have a laid down process. Why it is necessary that today, in today's world, if you see, in my age, we used to join one company and retire from there, the same company. But today, the scenario is totally different. If you remain in a company till your retirement, people will feel that you do not have market value. Therefore, you have to keep changing. And nowadays, you can see the youth, they keep changing their jobs every 3 years or 4 years. So if you have a let down process, even if a new person joins the company, then he will not find it difficult to operate because everything is laid down. Evidence-based decision making. Whatever decision you take, it should not be based on experience. Some experienced person says, therefore we are doing like this, or we have been doing expectation. Define scope of quality, develop a quality management system, then leadership, provide leadership by focusing on quality and customers. Leadership by establishing a quality policy. And then comes the most important part is planning, how you will plan the activities. Define actions to manage. For example, if you go to any private organization today, MNC, then at the beginning of the year itself, you will have to plan your activities till the end of the year. And you will have to define your MOPs, that I will achieve this by quarter end, this by half year, this by year end. That is how you have to set your own quality standards and standards for targets for all your KPI, that is key performing indices. So you will have KPI and you have to plan for that at the beginning of the year. Then support, provide needed resources for QMS, encourage and expect competence. So that is how you have to provide support also. Then operations. While the operations are in place, all your instructions which you have written in manuals will be lying in some cupboard. So that is of no use. Unless and until the last operator who is actually delivering you the quality of the product, unless and until he knows what to do and how to produce a quality product, then the quality will not come on its own. So you have to have operational control also. Then you have to have monitoring mechanism and manage mechanism, documentation of all the reports. Because you should be able to trace the product. If some problem happens at the customer end and customer complains that this particular product of yours has this particular defect, then you should be able to trace it back to which day it happened, by which operator, in which shift, and at what time. So that traceability should be to that minor detail. You should be able to pinpoint the person who has created the defect, and you should train him not to create the same defect again. So that is how operational control is also required. Evaluation, you have to evaluate the performance of people, because unless your promotions and incentives are based on performances, people will get suffocated after some time. That good people who are delivering their KPIs, they will feel frustrated that even if I am doing good job, I am not getting promoted. So there has to have evaluation, and the evaluation should be 6 monthly, not yearly. And at the end of the year, the person who is operating or performing, he should be able to self-assess himself. And then based on that, it will be reviewed and organization will take decision call and improvement, of course. So next, if we see ISO 14000, ISO 9001 was for quality of the product. Now ISO 14001, it focuses on environment, that none of your processes should hamper the environment. You should not pollute air, you should not pollute water, you should not pollute earth. So there are standards, international standards, that how a particular operation should be carried out. As I told during my sustainability session, that factories work on zero discharge. So whatever water they pollute because of their operations, it is treated in ETP, and the ETP treated water is utilized in the factory itself. It may be utilized for gardening, it may be utilized in toilets. So you have to utilize the ETP water. You cannot drain it in Nala. So that is how you are not supposed to pollute anything. So it was introduced in 2015. Then ISO 14001 requirements provide a framework and guidelines for creating your environmental management system, so that you do not miss important elements needed for an EMS to be successful. What is EMS? Environmental Management System. So it takes into account fuels, then it takes into account water, it takes into account the plantation in your premises, it takes into account the species that are living in your premises, and they will have the biodiversity audit also to see whether the species are dying slowly or they are increasing in number and variety. So that is how the audit will happen even for species. So ISO 14001 focuses on environmental aspect. Number of ISO 14000 certificates issued per year. So year-wise you can see, because people are becoming more and more aware, there is a continuous follow-up at the international level, that unless and until we do something to protect the earth, we may not have a sustainable growth. Therefore, everybody is after that, and they want their organization to be titled as ISO 14001 certified. Because if that is not titled like that, then people will not buy the products made by that company, because they will feel that they are compromising somewhere on the environment. Therefore, this certificate is a must for anybody who wants to have his products across the world. So this is how the approach of the ISO 14001, that company will have to pen down environmental policy, that how they will go about the fuel efficiency, how they will go for water saving, environmental plan they will have to chalk out. That if some fuel they are using which is polluting the air, then how soon they will come out of that fuel. For example, few companies are there in villages which they still use furnace oil as a fuel, and furnace oil emits lot of CO2. So many big companies, they have stopped using furnace oil. They are slowly stopping using diesel, and they are moving towards clean energy. The first step is to move towards clean energy from this fossil fuel based energy. You have to first move to gas, propane gas, LNG, and next step is to move towards renewable source of energy. That is next step. So environmental plan has to be there, that when you will install solar system in your organization, when you will erase or come out of FO burning. So that is how the environmental plan is required. Plan implementation, then monitoring, corrective action, and management. Management review is must. And if the external auditors, they will first see management review meeting audit points. And if management review has not happened in last 1 year, then they may cancel the audit. So management review is very important. Then comes ISO IEC 27001. This certification is for information security management. As I said at the beginning of my session, that if one of your student is likely to have the entrepreneurship in this area, then if he is aware of such certificate, ISO IEC 27001 certificate, then he will be cautious while expanding his business. That he has to go for this, then only his products and services will be believed by people. So IT security, cyber security, and privacy protection. That is how it is covered in ISO IEC 20001. These are the benefits to the organization. That secure information in all forms. Now, even if Mahindra and Mahindra is not in the business of IT, they want their information to be secured. Nobody should be able to, they should be able to hide it from the other people who are doing cyber crimes and all. So cyber attacks, they have to protect their data, because nowadays data is the costliest asset you have in the factory or any organization. So if somebody steals your data, then it is the biggest problem you have and the biggest loss. So security information in all forms, including paper-based, cloud-based, digital data, increase resilience to cyber attacks. What is resilience? That if by mistake cyber attack happens and you are hijacked, if your computers are hijacked, then how soon you can come out of that? So that resilience has to be in the system. So there has to be a mock drill also, that if somebody attacks you, then how soon you can come back. Provide a centrally managed framework that secures all information in one place. There has to be a disaster management also, that if you have a main server where all the information lies, even in case of your college, suppose institute, if all your data is at one place and this something goes bad to the server, or there is an earthquake, or there is a big natural hazard is there. So if something happens to that data, then everything is lost. So you have to have a disaster management also. And there has to be a different server in the disaster control room. So if one data in one server is lost, there is another server which is taking backup every day night at 12. So every day night the backup will be taken by the disaster server. So even if the main server fails by some reason, then there is data available. Ensure organization-wide protection, including against technology-based risks and other threats. respond to evolving security threats, and reduce costs and spending on ineffective defense technology. So you have to you have to use the cost if you are already involved in some reduction or a security mechanism. And if it is not giving you enough security and you are already spending, then you should remove from there and then have some effective mechanism in place which will provide you proper defense. Protect the integrity and confidentiality and availability of data. Nowadays, as I said, that many people are leaving organizations and they are like a hopping flight from one company to another company. So this particular last line is very important. That if that person leaves your organization with lot of data related to your organization, then it is a big threat to your leadership. And he may use that data, utilize that data. He may even sell that data. That has happened with us also, and we could get back that data. Total data we could get back. But that had happened. That one person who left the organization, he left with a hard disk full of data. But we could recover that. So somehow we could save ourselves. Then information security management, these are the major controls. Information security policy has to be there. Organization of information security, human resource security, asset management, access control. You might be aware of this access control, that wherever servers are there, only few people can enter with some password or some card, magnetic card and so. So only those people can go inside. So that is how the access control has to be there. Cryptography, physical and environmental security, then operations security, communication security, system acquisition, development and maintenance, supplier relationships, information security incident management, information security aspects of business continuity management. Because many businesses, they can get closed if this is not properly taken care of. They are all their patents and patentable data they have. It can be stolen by somebody and utilized elsewhere. So compliance has to be there. So this is how it is ISO IEC 27001, which is very relevant in today's scenario. Then ISO 45001. This talks about Occupational Health and Safety Management System. What is occupational health? That since I have to do something for earning bread, I will do some work somewhere. So if because of my working in that organization, if it attracts some health issue, or if it attracts some ergonomical issue, if the setup there is not proper or ergonomical, then I may come up with a backache or a leg ache, or I may catch some disease because of the pollution in air. So these are all occupational. For example, the medicine, in case of medicine or medical industry, they have to handle patients even during times of corona. They had to handle patients. So that is an occupational health hazard, that they can catch corona easily from the patient. So that is how occupational health hazard exists everywhere. Even if it is a IT sector, if the sitting arrangement is not proper, then they will develop the problems with their eyes, they may develop problems with their back, neck. So everywhere they can have problem anywhere in their body. And it might be induced because of the working they are doing in some organization. So Occupational Health Hazard and Safety Management System, or ISO 45001, it focuses on this, that nobody's health, nobody's safety should be compromised just because he is working in your organization. So it is the responsibility of the organization to take care of the health and safety of the people working there. reduce risk and promote occupational health and safety. OHS, OSAS. So ISO 45000 is applicable to any organization that wishes to establish, implement and maintain an OSAS management system to improve occupational health and safety, eliminate hazards and minimize OHS risk, take advantage of OHS opportunities and address OHS management system non-conformities associated with its activities. For example, there is a legal rule, a legal law that the pollution has to be within specified limit. The suspended particles available in the environment where the factory is working, it should not cross certain limit. That limit is given by MPCB. So there is a law and MPCB can shut down your factory if it crosses that limit. So that is already there. But if there is some non-conformity, so you should immediately pull it down and bring it within the target. That mechanism has to be there, and that is what this ISO 45001 talks about. Benefits to the organization: positions your business as an industry leader. If any industry which has ISO 45001 certificate, then it positions your business as industry leader. Increases trust. Consistency means efficiency. The people will like to join your organization. There is one audit for happy workers. So people should feel happy while working in your organization, and that will happen only if there is no occupational health hazard. So lowers insurance premiums if you are paying, improves individual safety as well as organizational, then improves managerial oversight, because if the managers are day and night busy struggling with the problems which occur because of the poor occupational health hazard control, then they will not be able to see at a longer distance. They will not be able to focus on their vision. They will be day in, day out, they will be busy in present tense only. They will never be able to focus on future tense. So preventive risk and hazard assessment, that assessment is done. Increase return on investment, because whenever one accident happens, it will spoil your 7 to 8 working hours. That is how the accidents are taken very seriously in industries. So they don't want any accident to happen. So if the OHS is properly done in any industry, the number of accidents will drastically reduce and ROI will improve, return on investment, which the owners are interested in. What is a hazard? We have talked about the risk. So what are the hazards? So there can be a physical hazard. Suppose there is lot of oil, so you can slip. Suppose the staircase is not proper, if it is very smooth, then people will fall down, tip down. Then if the surface is not even, then only also people will fall down. Physical hazard. Chemical hazard can be there. Some chemical may create problem to people working around. Safety hazard is there, that if a fan is working without cover, it happens in industry. You will be astonished that how a fan can work without cover. But it happens in small industries, that there are fans who are working without cover. So people will get hampered because of these unsafe conditions. So safety hazards are there. Biological hazards are there, which we have all felt during the corona period, that there is a huge biological hazard if medical waste is not properly taken care of. So medical waste has to be also treated properly. Then ergonomic hazard, as I said, that if somebody is not sitting out, he has to bend, he has to stretch himself too often. Suppose a worker is producing 100 parts a day, and for every part he has to lift from floor to the working table. Then he will have to bend 100 times in a day in a shift of 8 hours. So he will have problem in his back. If suppose he is working in a polluted atmosphere where a lot of gases are there, suspended particles are there, and if he inhales that, then there is a very likelihood that he will have some problem with his lungs. So physiological hazards are also there. It is possible. So these are all hazards are there, natural hazards are there, and you have to have management, proper management. That if lot of rain comes, if it continuously rains for 4 or 5 days, how you will remove that water which has clogged in your factory premises? So that management has to be there. Then the girl employees, lady employees, they should be protected properly. You are working in all the 3 shifts. So if lady workers are also working in shifts, then you have to have proper arrangement for them to pick up and drop down. Then technological hazard is there. So all these hazards, something which has the potential to cause harm is called hazard. So this is taken care of in 45001. Now ISO 20000. So ISO 20000 talks about is an international standard according to ISO standard and has been created to guarantee the safety of the global food chain. Whatever food we purchase, whatever food we bring from market, so everything is covered in that. Total food chain is covered. Whether you are handling food in agriculture, then whether you are transporting it to some other place, then again you are unloading it from the truck, then again it goes to hotel, then again it is handled by the chef, then it is prepared, and then the final food is delivered to you. So entire chain is covered under ISO 22000. It is still voluntary, it is not compulsory to anybody. But imagine a hotel which says that we are ISO 22000 certified, then how reliable hotel will become for the customers. So this food chain, entire food chain it covers. Certification is applicable to any organization with the food chain regardless of size, from feed producers, primary producers through food manufacturers, transport and storage operators, and subcontractors to retail and food outlets. So entire this chain, right from the farm to your outlet, hotel outlet where you buy. So entire chain is covered. Then what is HACCP, Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Point System? So formal HACCP 7 steps. Conduct a hazard analysis. That what is the hazard? Which hazard is there in food industry? That you first pinpoint, and then determine the critical control points. That by controlling what process I will ensure that the hazard doesn't happen, or hazard doesn't get built into that food component. So that you have to pinpoint, and you have to control and monitor and control those control points. So establish critical limits. You have to have limits for example, if you are preserving the food elements in deep freezer, then how much should be the temperature? How much temperature is allowed? That is specified in this HACCP. That only this temperature is allowed. If the temperature is found to be more, then you cannot eat that food. Then it is not good for eating. Establish monitoring procedure. How it will be monitored? In a day, or every day, twice in a day, or once in a month, or once in 3 months. How that critical point will be monitored, that also you have to spell out. And there are standards available, but you can have your own standard which is better than what is mentioned in standard. That you can always have. Suppose the standard says that twice in a day is okay, and if you monitor it thrice in a day, it is always okay. So establish corrective actions. Then if something goes wrong, you have to have corrective actions in place. Establish verification procedures. how you will verify that the corrective action has been properly taken, whether the normalcy has been restored or not properly. So who will confirm that? There has to be a confirming authority for verifying that the corrective action has been properly taken. Establish record keeping. You have to have record of all these documents, proper record. So this is how it is with the 22,000. Now is ISO 13485. It deals with medical devices and related services. So all the medical devices which we get in market, like stethoscope ho gaya, tube, flask, injection, everything, even the band-aids, even hospital covers is covered under this, that whatever comes into the contact of the patient, so every that device will be covered under ISO 13485. So you have to apply for this and get certificate. Then we will have a cursory look at the remaining certificates. ISO 50001. So energy management. And in the beginning, while introducing me, the professor told that I am a certified energy auditor. So I am a certified energy auditor for ISO 50001. So ISO 50001 helps businesses improve their energy management and consumption while boosting their company image and advancing the environmental future. This aspect was touched upon in my sustainability session also, that how important the energy management is. Because to have the energy, you can burn fuels, you can consume electrical energy. So a lot of energy is consumed in different forms, and you have to have control on all the scope 1 to scope 3. So that I have elaborated in my last session. So still again, once again, I will say that scope 1 is then all gases emitted by the trucks and the JCB and the students who come from their home to colleges and the faculty members who come from home to colleges. The CO2 emitted by all the vehicles which are in support services for that organization will be called scope 3. So aim is to reduce consumption of all the DNR, depleting natural resources. All these CO2 based or carbon based fuels are now fast depleting. I shared that graph in my earlier session also, that in 110 years the coal will vanish. There will be no more coal to excavate. There will be no more petroleum. So that is how the no more natural gas. So these are all depleting natural resources. And therefore this form of energy is called non-renewable form of energy. But solar energy is renewable because every day the sun comes and it delivers a lot of energy. So every day it is renewed. But these forms are not renewed, therefore it is called non-renewable source of energy. So these are the different DNRs we are consuming fast. Wood we are consuming, wood not only as a fuel, but we are consuming it as a packing material also. So wood is being consumed fast. Nowadays there are briquettes have come up. So it is slightly better than direct DNR. So briquettes are made up from the waste of rice industry or wheat industry. Whatever waste comes out, it is formed it is converted into the form of a briquette. And those briquettes have some calorific value, good calorific value, and they are available very cheap. So on one hand, we are dealing with the disposing of the waste in a biological way or an environmental friendly way. And on the other hand, we are getting energy. So it is a better form of fuel available nowadays. Then coal, which I said that it is depleting, diesel it is depleting, petrol, LDO, FO, propane, LNG, PNG, LPG, all these except briquette, we can say that they are depleting very fast. So we have to come out of that and start using renewable source of energy. ISO 20,000-1. So it focuses on service management system. Here you can see the examples that Amazon, Flipkart, Zomato, Ola, Oyo, these are all zero asset based companies. They do not have their own assets. Amazon, I will not talk about Amazon, Flipkart, but Ola and Oyo, they are zero asset companies. Even Zomato, zero asset companies, but they are service providers. So this certificate covers the services given by these companies. Whatever services they give, it is covered under ISO 20,000. So if they go for ISO 20,001, then there are conditions even to give service. You can say that my services is best only if you are certified with ISO 20,001. So this is also one way of achieving the better and better results in your business, that if you certify your business with ISO 20,001, then people will have more belief in you. Then comes ISO 28,000. So ISO 28,000, this document specifies requirements for a security management system, including aspects relevant to the supply chain. So we may see that every company has a supply chain. And there are two companies which only provide supply chain. They are not involved in production, they are not involved in sale, they are only involved in supply chain. So they will carry material from one place to another place. So ISO 28,000 has standard even for that. Then ISO 22,301, it focuses on business continuity management. Because of n number of reasons, your business may shut down and may come to a grinding halt if proper care is not taken. Nowadays, this hacking and all cyber attacks, your business may go to dogs if proper care is not taken. So this ISO 20,000, 22,301 focuses on how to protect your business and how to have business continuity. Here two scenarios are given, that if this business is happening, sales, manufacturing, installation, services, if something bad like COVID, if something happens and your business comes to a grinding halt, then you can have some functions still operating. For example, you can give services to your customers. Then IT will be working, finance will be working, customer contact, purchasing. These things will keep happening. So you have to have proper planning, that if something goes bad, what I will do. Risk management has to be done properly. That if you are handling a risk, then suppose what you have not seen for future or foreseen, if that happens, then what? How I will run my business? So that is how you have to think about it. Then ISO 37,001, it is the international standard to prevent, detect and address bribery by adopting an anti-bribery policy. So your organization has to have an anti-bribery policy, and you will be surprised to know that the destructive criminal activity that turns over $1 trillion a year. So this bribery industry is generating $1 trillion a year. So there is a standard even for that how you can protect your organization from this problem, from this menace, which is world over. Then comes the last one, that is ISO 39,001, 2012. It focuses on basically specified requirement for road traffic safety. If a company, nowadays even the roads are handed over to private agencies. Even rail is now handed over to private agencies. So if you want to have minimum accidents on the roads which you are managing, and you want that your road safety should be maximum, then ISO 39001 will give you standards. And looking at those standards, you can plan your daily activities, you can plan, you can have your future plans in place. That is how the ISO 39001 operates. This international standard is applicable to any organization that wishes to establish, implement, maintain, and improve an RTS management system. Assure itself of conformity with its stated RTS policy, demonstrate conformity with this international standard, then observes, evaluates the accident numbers of killed and injured persons, provides a continuous improvement of the traffic safety observes, and evaluates events that are in connection with the road traffic safety. So that's all. To summarize what I have said till now, ISO 9000 focuses on quality, then environment management 14001, then information security, then 45,000 talks about occupational health hazard, 22,000 talks about food supply chain, ISO 13485 talks about medical devices, ISO 50001 about energy management, 20,000 talks about service management, 28,000 security management, and 22,301 business continuity management, anti-bribery, and last, road safety. So that's all from my side. If somebody has some question, you can ask.
Thank you very much, sir. The panel is open for discussion. Participants can ask their questions.
Mahabal sir, thank you for updating us regarding the various certification that industry applies for. And really, we did not know anything about it because we belong to the academic institutes. So thanks. It was a nice information, additional information rather, I would say, you provided us all.
You can even motivate few of your students to have career in audit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Career in audit is very paying, very rich career.
Yeah,
if you follow
that's true.
So that also can be done. Few students.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Thank you for the nice and summarized information regarding the various certifications.
Thank you.
The industries applies.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for taking out time for our session. Thank you very much on behalf of Department of Applied Physics. And thank you all my participants for being so patient for this session. I request you all to please be joined for the next session.